Okay? Now we are looking again at the purpose of business, and that is so important. Many of us have confusion, not just us. I can see that the larger number of people out there, even those who have been in business for several years, have a confusion as to the purpose of business. And if you ask anyone out there, what's the purpose of business? The purpose of a business is to just make money. Oh, nothing can be so far further from the truth than that. The purpose of a business is to serve a customer. I keep saying that. The purpose of a business is to serve a customer. And therefore, the measurement of the growth of a business, really speaking, is the growth in its customer base. How many people are you serving? If your income is growing and your customer base is not growing, eventually your customer base will shrink, and then finally your income will disappear. If your customer base is growing, certainly your income will grow in the long run. How will my customer base grow? My customer base will grow by simply solving my customers' problems within the ambit of the equipment or the instruments available to me. And the instruments or the equipment available to me will be defined by the kind of business that I have gone into. If I am a mechanic, I can only solve car problems, engine problems for my customers. If they have health problems, I am not the go-to person. If they have food needs, it's not me. So that is what we mean. Now, if a business is not set up to make money, then how do I make money? Yes, money making is my own challenge, not the business's challenge. The business is to provide solutions to the customer. My own is to find how to make money as my business to give solutions to the customer. Let us say in transportation business, transportation. To go into my transportation business, I need to buy a bus. Now, when I've bought the bus is to convey people from one place to another. That is what it is made for. That is the function of the bus. So whenever I buy a bus for my business, I am going into the business of conveying people from one place to another. Let us assume I'm moving people from here to Abuja, and I charge 3,000 naira. And I have competition charging 5,000 naira. Both of us will still move people from here to Abuja, irrespective of how much we charge. I may not make a profit. My competition may make a profit. But we have still moved people. That is the purpose of our business. But because I want to remain in business for a long time, I can charge a little more so that I can break even and I can begin to make a profit. That profit, breaking even, make sure that I can recover my cost. Making a profit, make sure I can expand my business, expand. So whether I make a profit or I do not make a profit, the vehicle will convey people to Abuja. The driver will drive people to Abuja. How come some business transportation companies are then more profitable than others? It now depends totally on the strategy of the owner of the business. Fundamentally, we are in the business of moving people. the vehicle will move people. Whether I make money or I don't make money, the vehicle is indifferent to how much I charge. As long as there's fuel and there's a driver, the vehicle will move people. But I want to make money moving people. So what do? I charge a price that ensures I can make money. I can make a profit. Now that price is not vehicle sensitive. It is person sensitive. That is why sometimes some people will run a business aground. They will collapse the business. But when you change the people and a new set of people come in, they can turn it around even without you changing the activities, without you changing the machinery, without you changing anything really other than just changing people. So the business will do what it is structured to do. If, for instance, I have a clinic to attend to patients and perhaps I'm into surgery, it doesn't matter how much is charged. The surgeon will carry out the surgery. If the owners of the business now want to make money, they can change their pricing regime. The price right, the price more, or they look for only customers who can then afford their service. But the fundamentals have not changed. Surgery is surgery. Whether it is performed in Ikorodu, or performed in Ajegule, or performed in Victoria Island, or performed in Los Angeles, or performed in London, surgery is surgery. But the pricing will be different because of the want, of the desires of the promoters. The function, the purpose remain the same. A house is built to provide shelter, to provide accommodation, either for people or for businesses. That accommodation or apartment is not sensitive to the rent you collect. Whether your rent is profitable or not, the purpose of a building is to provide shelter. That's its purpose. But the owner of the shelter, his own purpose is to make money. Therefore, he begins to charge a rent that ensures it covers the cost of provision of the shelter, and then something extra which translates to income. So the purpose of a business is to solve a problem for a client, for a customer, is to serve a customer, and the business will continue to serve a customer as long as it is in existence. Recently, Procter & Gamble, P&G, that makes household commodities, consumables, especially baby things, has chosen to exit out of the Nigerian market as a manufacturer. The equipments are still there. The equipments are still functional. They will still produce irrespective of whether P&G, Procter & Gamble moves out and another person takes over or not. And in fact, P&G has sold the machinery and equipment to a local Indian buyer. And he will continue to provide that service, charging differently. And the reason P&G is going away is because of the exchange rate regime. Because of the exchange rate, they feel that their business model has to change, and that it serves them better to just import into Nigeria and sell rather than produce in Nigeria because of the cost of production in Nigeria, where they have to provide all their power, energy requirements. where they have to do a lot of other infrastructures that are basic in some other clients. However, the purpose of the machinery of that business has not changed, which is to continue to manufacture and churn out. Anybody can run that, but it does not meet their own profit goals, does not meet their profit requirements. So they are moving out. So this is the reason why we say that profiting from your business is your own personal goal. Making profit from that business is your own personal goal. The goal of the business is to provide a service, a solution to a clientele base. I can open up a shop, a barbing salon, and I equip it. The machines there will provide the service for which they are meant, whether I make money or not. I may be making money, but in my own estimation, the money I'm making is not enough. Therefore, I can close down the business. But those who require haircut, who require salon service, have they disappeared? No, they are still there for the business to serve. But I'm simply saying it is not meeting my own personal goals, my own personal aspirations. So I close the business. I have a water factory. There are people still drinking water. So the purpose of that factory is to churn out water in a presentable form for people to buy. As long as I do that, there's a market. The only time a business can close down is when there's no more market for when there's no demand for his service. But when there's a demand, the business will continue to meet that demand. But it is the promoter who in his own estimation says that, hey, the income generated as a result of solving this problem does not meet his expectations. So that is when he closes down the business. But the business still has a problem it can solve for a specific customer base. So the majority of promoters are unable to separate their personal purpose from the business purpose. The business purpose is different from the personal purpose of the promoters. Another example is I can invest in Coca-Cola. When I invest in Coca-Cola, I become one of the promoters of Coca-Cola. My purpose is to make money out of Coca-Cola. But Coca-Cola's purpose is to provide the Coke drink for a consumer base. So whether I invest or not, the company Coca-Cola will continue to do that. But I invest in Coca-Cola not because I'm even interested in the consumer, I am interested in the money. But that is not what Coca-Cola is interested in as a business. As a business, it wants to delight its customers. It wants to give them a pleasurable experience. That's what Coke is meant for. So that is the purpose of that business. So you must, inability to define the purpose can bring frustration both to the promoter and to the business itself. So the purpose of a business is to create a customer out of people and delight these customers over and over and over. So making a profit out of delighting them is a reward for fulfilling that purpose. If the company does it well, the customer will be ready to pay a fair price that ensures that the service of this business or the customer continues on a sustainable basis. So I don't know if this is clear to us, but I need to make this clarification so that as we go into business, we don't mix our purpose and the purpose of the business. I do not know what they call the business that they do in fish. Whatever it is, the purpose of that business is to provide food for those who like to eat fish. That's the purpose of that business. That's the purpose of that kind of enterprise. To put fish on people's tables. Now the challenge is, the promoter is not satisfied with that. The promoter wants to make money. If you focus on the purpose of the business diligently, eventually your customer for whom you are providing that service will pay a fair price sufficient to sustain you in that business in the long run. Many of us are not focused on the purpose of the business. We are focused on our own purpose, and very soon we frustrate the purpose of the business, and then the business closes. So this essentially is defining in proper perspective the purpose of a business. Before I go on, I would like to just take some feedback from us. Ebony World,